going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here for SmackDown on Off the Script. It is Friday, November 29th, 2019. The Thanksgiving festivities have come and gone. You guys, I'm sure, have an overabundance of leftovers left in your refrigerators. That is, if you did celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you guys had a good one with many cold beverages amongst you. So the Thanksgiving festivities are over, and the typical WWE shit show rolls itself on into Birmingham, Alabama. I never seen more casuals than I did tonight in the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, I don't know if you guys even watched the show. I don't know if you even realized the show was on. You might be spending time with your family. You might hate your family so much that you figured, you know what, I'm going to watch SmackDown because I can't stand any of you people. Please leave. If you didn't watch the show, I'm here to tell you that you missed absolutely nothing. You missed absolutely nothing. What you missed is the first 40 minutes of this show was Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. The first 40 minutes of this show. Now, I don't know what had happened. I don't know if WWE had a show planned. I don't know, amongst all the Thanksgiving festivities, if they even realized that they had to go to work today. But I don't want to make excuses for these people, because this show is that bad every single fucking week. It is downright miserable. I don't want to make excuses for them, but I really don't know if the entire SmackDown roster had flown to Birmingham, Alabama, a day after Thanksgiving to come to work. Maybe WWE wanted to just give half the roster a rest and use just the most important people on tonight's show, like Reigns, and I don't believe I'm saying Baron Corbin. In what world is he one of the most important people on this show? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though. The New Day, Shinsuke Nakamura, right? You got Daniel Bryan, you got Bray Wyatt. It's like they didn't even fly out most of the roster for this show. So I don't know what their plans were. I don't know if they considered this a actual episode of SmackDown Live that they're going to put a lot of effort in. They should, being that we are 3 weeks out from TLC. Again, I don't want to make excuses for these people because the show is always this bad, but I have to as far as fair criticism goes. I don't know. But I don't understand why anybody would care about the first 40 minutes of this show being Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Unless you are 6 years old, nobody gives a shit about any of those four guys. I don't even know why they're feuding at this point. Someone please tell me why they are even in a feud. Seriously. Did Baron Corbin really take a dump in Roman Reigns' backyard? Seriously. Those are the moments I think that's what the doggy bags were for. Or the doggy poop bags that he was carrying just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. I don't care. It's probably going to result in a god-awful match at the pay-per-view that nobody gives a shit about. So please, just quit it, end it. But I'll give you my reason on why I think Roman Reigns is in this god-awful feud with Baron Corbin. We were supposed to get a Firefly Funhouse tonight that introduced the new face of the Firefly Funhouse. Now, I was very confused as to what was going on. We had a new title introduced, apparently, just slipped in there under everybody's nose. A new title for The Fiend was introduced. I got a picture of it. We'll look it over as we get on with the show tonight. But I wasn't sure if that was the new face, literally, of the Firefly Funhouse, or if we were just being clickbaited, as always. It's as if WWE kind of clickbaited us tonight, in very Sean's View-esque style tonight, in very Wrestle Talk-like style tonight. I mean, where was the new face of the Firefly Funhouse? Could have been anybody. Could have been Luke Harper. Right? Where's Luke Harper? Is he even associated with a fucking brand? Why you're not utilizing the abilities of a very valuable and a very capable Luke Harper on this show? He would have fit well into the Funhouse, right? He's got a history with Bray Wyatt, if my memory serves me correctly. What about Eric Rowan? I know he's on Raw, but nobody gives a fuck about him. Why not him for a new character in the Firefly Funhouse? Instead, you got this fucking guy coming out with a goddamn fucking cage with a burlap sack over it. Who the fuck could possibly care about Eric goddamn Rowan? Seriously. Or it could have been the heavily rumored Liv Morgan. Now, I knew it wasn't Liv Morgan, and the reason why I knew it wasn't Liv Morgan was because that would be too creative for the WWE writing staff. Are you kidding me? That would make too much sense to have Liv Morgan in the Firefly Funhouse as a new character for Bray Wyatt. You fucking out of your mind? Don't give these people that much credit. They were responsible for this fucking show tonight. Don't give them that type of credit in any sense at all, ever. So we got a new face of the Firefly Funhouse. I don't know what it really meant going in. I thought it was going to be something big and special to enhance his character. Yet, we get another clickbaited job by WWE. I love how they do that to get your attention and gauge interest, and then it falls as far as the disappointment factor goes. I don't give a shit. Daniel Bryan getting another WWE Universal title shot. Of course, WWE does these title feuds ass backwards. They give you the title match, then they build the story, then we get 3 more matches after that, and nobody gives a shit because it's going to result in the same outcome. Bryan is not beating The Fiend, folks. If you think Daniel Bryan is beating The Fiend, you're a fool. That's going to be safe for Roman Reigns after he delivers one spear. One spear. So we got Daniel Bryan tonight. I pray to God, I pray to the fucking hair gods, to the hair and beard gods. Beer, not beer, beard. I could use a fucking beer after tonight's show. The hair and beard gods, that Daniel Bryan does not shave his glorious beard. That would be an absolute crime that should be punishable to up to 20 years in prison. Can't do it. Can't do it. If he wants to do it, God bless him. He's still an idiot. He's going to look ridiculous. Does this mean the American Dragon is coming back to the WWE? Rollins changed after he fought The Fiend. He was actually decent in the beginning of the year, and he turned into a fucking sniveling pussy by the end of the year. He changed. He changed. He went from having balls to having a vagina. Seth Rollins changed. Finn Balor changed. He wanted nothing to do with the main roster anymore. Right? Then we got Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is changing. He might be getting a fucking haircut. I don't know what's going on. I hope it is not what is being discussed right now all over wrestling social media. I hope it's not. And then we got the open challenge by the New Day. Apparently, there are no tag teams in the WWE on the SmackDown roster. So WWE issues an open challenge, or has the New Day issue an open challenge for the New Day's tag team titles. And folks, open challenge is shorter term for WWE Creative has no idea what to do with these titles or this tag team. So we're going to put these guys in an open challenge and book something that is not relevant or important to the program this evening. That's all that is. That's all that means. So you learned something new today, if you guys didn't know that already. We're going to go over the show, or lack thereof, of what was SmackDown tonight on Fox. And after I do that, I got to get ready for Off the Script, because Off the Script this weekend is going to be fucking crazy, man. I can't wait to talk about all the news and rumors I got this weekend. But thank you guys so much for joining me right here on the podcast. Like I said, Off the Script will be in your sub boxes, I hope, tomorrow afternoon, episode 302. We're going to dive into this Corey Graves situation, because apparently there were apologies given out, but not to the right people. And WWE thinks Corey Graves is the victim in all of this Mauro Ranallo situation. I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow on Off the Script. If you guys missed any of my other videos, before you get to Off the Script tomorrow, we got Raw, we got AEW Dynamite, we got NXT. It's been a light week so far because it's the holiday, forgive me. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out down in the description of this very video. Everything you guys missed is going to be linked right down there for you. Easy access for everybody watching the podcast tonight. Follow me on social media. Twitter was giving me a problem, so I didn't get as many tweets out tonight as I wanted. But follow me on social media. Thank you for all the new follows this week. That is at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram, so thank you guys so very much for that. Remember, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And I appreciate every single one of you. And tonight's podcast is brought to you by Audible. My good friends over at Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Guys, I know I've been pushing that Mayor Kane, My Life in Wrestling and Politics. It's the new Glenn Jacobs autobiography, almost 8 hours long, completely narrated by him. The book is coming out Tuesday. You guys can actually get the 8-hour audio biography from Glenn Jacobs for free by using our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys can certainly do that if you want. Support the podcast, support Audible, sign up, get 30 days and one free audiobook. That free audiobook can be the new Mayor Kane Glenn Jacobs book. If you guys don't want Audible or don't like Audible and you simply want to sign up for the free book and just to support the podcast, you guys can certainly do that as well. You guys can cancel anytime in that 30 days and still get to keep your audiobook for free. It is a great deal, and everybody that signs up, man, believe me, it helps the show out immensely, and I would appreciate if you guys do that. Support the podcast, support my friends over at Audible. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. SmackDown tonight, November 29, 2019, from the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. The most casual of casual crowds. It was sickening. It was absolutely sickening. You know, you had a bunch of those. We're going to take the kids to that Legacy Arena. We're going to put down the pitchforks and we're going to take some time away from milking the sheep and the cows and feeding the good old fat pig that lives in the farm. And we're gonna go watch that good old-fashioned WWE wrestling tonight. Had a bunch of those clowns in the arena tonight. It was sickening. Absolutely sickening. What was sickening was SmackDown started off with Roman Reigns, the big dog. The big dog. Michael Cole and Corey Graves are so great at their job that they regurgitate scripted lines carefully penciled in there by Vince McMahon. You're not allowed to have a personality. You know? Yet I'm supposed to think that Corey Graves is the victim in all this, right? Sure thing, Mr. Graves. Sure thing. Roman Reigns made his entrance. There was a big cheer for Roman Reigns, of course. It's in Alabama. They don't know any better. So Cole was talking about the Survivor Series and how Roman Reigns was the sole survivor from Friday Night SmackDown at the Survivor Series. One of the best moments of the entire show was his showdown with Keith Lee. I look forward to their next contest, hopefully. But Keith Lee looks like the type of guy that would be pushed for 1 month, be the flavor of the month, and then Vince McMahon would kill his push because he's getting over too much. That's Keith Lee's future on the main roster. Watch. It's gonna happen. Believe me, I know. So, Graves said that Reigns turned on Baron Corbin at the end of the match. Oh, well, really? Really? Just like you turned on Morrow? Your own colleague? You guys got similar personalities there. Then Graves. So, Reigns is in the ring. He took 5 minutes to walk around. 5 minutes of SmackDown was wasted because of Roman Reigns making his ring entrance. So, Reigns said to him, Thanksgiving means happiness, family, health. And 1 year ago, he only had one of those. So here come the tears. Here comes the please give Roman sympathy line. He said he has all three this year, and he thanked the fans for being a part of his family. He said that he has even more to be thankful for this year because Team SmackDown whooped some ass last Sunday. SmackDown didn't really whoop anybody's ass in the Survivor Series. You may have won your match, but what did it fucking mean? Nothing. NXT wins absolutely nothing. They win first dibs at catering next time they're on the main roster. The fuck did they win? So fans were chanting NXT. I'm surprised that they knew who NXT was. You know? NXT sounds like the fucking local food mart that's in the neighborhood that serves organic chicken and eggs, and, you know, they got those finely cut steaks. That's what these fucking people probably think NXT is. So Reigns said it's all WWE, NXT, they're badass too. So they didn't get the job done. SmackDown did. But NXT won the night, which they failed to mention in this promo. He thanked his partners Ali, Chad Gable, Braun Strowman. Said they also had one dummy on the team. One dummy on the team, huh? Just like the 30 dummies that wrote this fucking promo. He said he's not going to thank a dummy. And if anything, that dummy should be apologizing to him and thanking him. He asked if they should bring the dummy out to make him apologize. Who wrote this shit? Who the fuck wrote this horrendous dialogue? And folks, it only gets worse. Corbin walked out as if he's promoting the new fucking Beyond Burger from Burger King. Corbin walked out and said Reigns must have lost his mind if he wants to thank him, or if he wants him to thank him. He said his fearless leadership is what helped SmackDown win. Said he eliminated 2 people before Reigns selfishly turned on his team and got him eliminated. Said his ego couldn't handle that he was going to win and be the sole survivor for SmackDown and him himself get the job done. Reigns says he didn't get the job done, though. He says he can get the job done tonight, though, right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Cheap fucking pop. Corbin said he knew he'd say something like that, but he doesn't have him fooled like he has these people fooled. Said he might have tricked the people into thinking he's some type of role model, but he is not buying it. He bragged about the Thanksgiving dinner he had. He said Reigns ate dog food at Thanksgiving. Corbin says that when he drops his fork or his spoon or his silverware, he's got someone ready and willing to pick it up right then and there. He was treated like a king on Thanksgiving. He ate a feast like a king. Then he said Birmingham has worse food and even worse football. Corbin says he has a feeling Reigns will be wheeled out of here on a stretcher, and it will be absolutely glorious. So then came out the inglorious Robert Roode and the fake comedian Dolph Ziggler. Roode was ready to go, and apparently we were getting a match fit for Alabama losers. Robert Roode versus Roman Reigns. Now, I don't know why we have to be punished to watch something like this. I don't know who in the community could really sit here and vouch and justify this fucking garbage. Why would anybody fucking care? I did not give a shit about the match. The match has no meaning. I don't give a shit how many people come and tell me in the comment section, but it was good. Why are you complaining? What does it mean at the end of the evening? What the fuck does the match mean to you? What does it mean to me? Tell me why I should care about Roman Reigns and Robert Roode. I'll wait. What's that? Nothing? Nothing was on the line and nothing really matters because of this match. Exactly. Now, this may be difficult for you guys to comprehend because I have some fucking dummies listening to me, but this is not a newsflash for anybody. This should not be a newsflash for anybody. The only reason why Roman Reigns is in this feud with Baron Corbin is, please don't tell me that someone in WWE thinks this is somehow entertaining fucking pro wrestling, because it's not. The only reason why Roman Reigns is in this feud with Baron Corbin is because it's all part of the Roman agenda. And what I mean by that is they do not want Roman Reigns going in the direction of Seth Rollins. But we all know that he will be floating in the direction of Seth Rollins because once they book him with The Fiend, then he will undoubtedly be booed. It's coming. I'm telling you right now. I am a fucking mind reader. I see it right now. There's no way anybody's going to be cheering Roman Reigns over Bray Wyatt. There's none. Absolutely zero chance of that happening. And if you're one of those people, you are a fucking idiot because you're just feeding right into the system. The only reason why Roman Reigns is in this program with Baron Corbin is because Baron Corbin has go-away heat. Yes, it exists. To the fucking cretins and parasites in the community who don't believe in go-away heat. Oh, it's real. It's real. Baron Corbin started to make an upward swing in what he's been doing on television. He won the King of the Ring. People like me and people like everybody in the community that hated Baron Corbin for all the wrong reasons, they actually grew to stomach him and they actually respected the body of work that he put in the King of the Ring tournament. He came out looking like a legit fucking king. And when he won the tournament, people like me and people like other podcasters out there, they actually accepted it because of what he did and how he was booked in the tournament. He didn't cheat. He won fair and square. He put on good matches. He looked like a winner. Now he's right back to where he was before the King of the Ring tournament was even created. Roman Reigns is in this thing with Baron Corbin because they know for a simple fact that Baron Corbin has go-away heat. He has that fucking ability to just have people change the channel, get up and not give a shit about anything that's going on. Nobody gives a shit about Baron Corbin, and the fucking hatred that they have for Baron Corbin is so real that it doesn't even matter what he does or what he says on WWE television. The guy is absolutely mind-numbingly boring and unimportant. The guy has absolutely nothing going for him, and the boos and the negative reaction you hear is not because he's a good heel. It's because the people don't give a shit about him at all. And WWE knows that. WWE knows that, so they put Roman Reigns in this situation because they know that Roman Reigns is not going to get booed against somebody that the overwhelming audience watching this shit just hates for all the wrong reasons. So Roman Reigns is being cheered in this situation by default because of how bad Baron Corbin is. That's the reason why this feud is happening. And we might be getting this feud going into the Royal Rumble. This is nothing more than a just platform for Roman Reigns to sit on before he is ready, or WWE deems him ready, for The Fiend going into WrestleMania. Just imagine this being Roman Reigns in the oven at 450 degrees. They're preheating the oven for that big meal at WrestleMania. That's all this is. They're preheating the oven for Roman Reigns before they could slide the fucking main dish in to cook at WrestleMania, which is going to be Roman Reigns and The Fiend at WrestleMania for the Universal title. It's all sickening. It is absolutely sickening. Did I watch this match? I can guarantee you, and I could say with all honesty, I did not give a shit about anything that happened on this match. So much so that I actually took a 10-minute bathroom break during this fucking match. Didn't give a shit. So obviously, I had to rewind and see what was going on here, just out of sheer curiosity. And my curiosity was left with disappointment. Reigns was being beat down. So we had Ziggler and Corbin on the outside. They were trying to get their man Bobby Roode to win here. Reigns blocked a glorious DDT. He then lifted and dropped Roode with a sit-out powerbomb. You know, the same spot that Charlotte Flair stole from Roman Reigns' moveset. So we got a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Crowd is on the edge of their seat. I'm not, because this match means nothing to me. Reigns gave Ziggler a Superman punch at ringside. Roode then shoved Reigns into the ring post and then shoved him into the ringside steps. Reigns made a comeback and went for a spear, but Bobby Roode turned it into a spine buster. Graves said that Roode was very close to the biggest win of his singles career. I guess the NXT Championship and him beating Nakamura for the NXT Championship was nothing more than a fucking unimportant aspect to this man's WWE run, right? I don't understand. So, we got Corbin. He is outside. He slips the scepter to Bobby Roode. The ref was checking on Roman Reigns in the most unnatural fashion I've seen. And then Corbin gets on the apron and distracts the referee. God knows what he was saying. And then Roode took the scepter. He went to go swing at Reigns. Reigns blocked it, landed a Superman punch. He then delivered a punch to Baron Corbin. Superman punch to Corbin, who was standing on the ring apron. Then he speared Bobby Roode. And that was it. Roman Reigns wins in 17 minutes. What do you want me to say about it? Completely unimportant garbage. So afterwards, Ziggler got in the ring. He jumped Reigns from behind. Ziggler was pretending to be Shawn Michaels, who he is not even close to emulating. Started revving up the super kick, and Reigns countered with a Samoan drop. He then threw Corbin shoulder first into the ring post. Roode then hit Reigns from behind with the scepter. Roode's put Reigns face down on a chair and yelled, "Say hello to your kids." Don't know what the fuck that meant. But then he wound the scepter up. Reigns moved, gave Roode another Superman punch. Reigns then speared Bobby Roode through the barricade on the outside. Reigns took the steps, swung them into Ziggler, knocked him into the front row. Reigns then lifted the announce desk and tipped it onto Roode at ringside, so he pretended to be Brock Lesnar in this moment. Bobby Roode was laying by the timekeeper's table with the barricade laying on top of him, and then Reigns takes Corey Graves and Michael Cole's table and tips it over and lands that on Bobby Roode. I don't understand why anybody would care about this whatsoever. It's amazing. What does this mean in the end? Seriously. Everybody looks unimportant in this situation. Reigns, it's nothing but Reigns biding his time until WWE moves him on to something to further the Roman agenda. Baron Corbin, he ends up a loser. He gains nothing from this. He gains absolutely nothing from any of this. Bobby Roode gains nothing. Dolph Ziggler gains nothing. They are there merely to play up to the fact that Baron Corbin's a loser, and they look like losers by association instead of being a fucking tag team that won the tag team titles. Why? Why are they mixed in with this shit when they could definitely be a asset, a valuable asset to the tag team division? And I look at Bobby Roode and I wonder where they went wrong with this guy. This guy was the biggest fucking heel in NXT. This guy should have been the biggest heel on the main roster. And he's a fucking loser. An absolute loser. I don't know how you could mess that up. I really don't get it. This was nothing. Absolutely nothing. 40 minutes this took up on SmackDown. Now, I don't know if that was by design. I don't know if they really planned for this segment to go long. But again, all I'm thinking when I'm watching this segment, then they want to know why the roster is unhappy. Then they want to know why people are crying for an opportunity. Then they want to know why people want to leave and ask for their release to go seek opportunity elsewhere. How the fuck can they get an opportunity on this show when the first 40 minutes of this show were taken up by Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns? I don't understand it. You could have fit 2 matches and a goddamn promo in that time. Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. Firefly Funhouse. Bray waved. "Hi, this show's garbage. How you doing?" Bray waved, said hello to the Fireflies. Said sharing is caring. So if he has a Universal title belt, it's only fair that he has one too. They flashed images of the Fiend, and he said he loves his new toy and had an absolute blast playing with Daniel Bryan at the Survivor Series. So, by the time this was over, all this was the Fiend, or Bray Wyatt, I should say, telling Daniel Bryan that the Fiend would like to play with him again. He asked if they'd like to see him play with Bryan again. The kids cheered. Bray said he can make his wish come true and make it all change for the better because all he has to do is let him in. And that was pretty much it. He said goodbye, and no new character was unveiled as WWE promised. Now, I was confused. I was confused at this point. They didn't really specify what this meant. Everybody was under the impression that we were going to see another talking individual puppet, maybe another individual into the funhouse to bring this fucking concept to life instead of the same old shit, rinse and repeat. And all we got was this still image. This is from a very quick cutscene, and I took this off of social media because every time something happens in wrestling Twitter, you know, they're all over it. So I took this from some random fucking Twitter profile who already had this as a profile picture. And this is the new face of the Firefly Funhouse. It's not Liv Morgan. It's not Luke Harper. It's not any other individual that WWE could easily creatively write into the Funhouse. No. That would be too much work for the WWE writing team. This is the new face of the Firefly Funhouse. Now, I wasn't really sure. Did WWE clickbait us? Is the title the new face of the Firefly Funhouse? Clearly it is. Because the title now, the Universal title, or at least the Fiend having his title now, has a legit fucking face. His own face on the title. And I gotta admit, that looks pretty badass. That looks pretty fucking badass right there for a Universal title. So much so that WWE Shop already has it on their website for the holidays. And this is going to be exclusive for the holidays, and it's going to come in limited numbers. So there you go. Another reason why Bray Wyatt is the number one selling merchandise wrestler in all of WWE, is ranked number one leagues beyond everybody else in the WWE right now with the report that was just released today. He's the number one merchandise seller in all of WWE. I expected something more. I really did. That's pretty badass, though. I'm not going to lie. Now, that wasn't the first time, or that wasn't the only time, I should say. That was the first of 3 times we've seen the Firefly Funhouse tonight. So, again, I wasn't really sure what they meant. Clearly, that's what they meant. They hook, line, and sinkered everybody into this. Everybody thought it was going to be a returning Liv Morgan or another character into the Funhouse that we would physically see every time he goes into the Funhouse. But it's just the unveiling of a new championship for the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Sheamus has returned. He had a vignette saying the current state of SmackDown is pathetic. He said he just sees misfits and cowards, a Fiend, a King, a Chad Gable, because I refuse to call him by the name that they gave him. He did mention his new ring name and said whatever the hell that is. He said he doesn't see anyone hungry or with a backbone. That's why this is the perfect time for him to return. He said SmackDown has gone soft, and he will ravage anyone who stands in his way. SmackDown will be mine, is what he said, quote for quote. Now, Sheamus being added to SmackDown could certainly add some depth to what I think is a very weak roster. Shouldn't be weak, because WWE has a 2-hour show where they could honestly make a lot of different people stand out and look important and strong, and they just refuse to do so. I am not interested in seeing Sheamus. Not interested in seeing Sheamus on SmackDown just by himself. Cesaro is on Sheamus. WWE needs tag teams. Legit tag teams. Whatever the fuck Sheamus is doing right now, or Cesaro I should say, don't know what he's got going on. His ring attire looks absolutely ridiculous. They need to pair him with Sheamus quickly. I would rather see both of them together instead of separate. Separate, Cesaro ain't doing nothing. Sheamus separate, he ain't going to be doing anything important. He'll look good for a couple weeks, and then he'll fucking float right back into the same feeling that everybody else has on this show. Irrelevant. He'll feel like everybody else. Is he going to add depth? Yes. All this did was come off as him being SmackDown's version of Drew McIntyre. And we already have a Drew McIntyre, and we don't need another one. Drew McIntyre has gone on to do nothing in the WWE, and we don't need Sheamus to emulate what Drew McIntyre is doing on Monday Night Raw for SmackDown. Pair him with Cesaro. I hope that's the case. Hopefully WWE realizes that both of these guys will sync without each other, and they'll just end up together sooner rather than later. That's all I could say on that. Mustafa Ali versus Rugelach. Drew Gulak got no ring entrance. And Drew Gulak, it pains my fucking soul to see Drew Gulak pulled from NXT and pulled from 205 Live, pulled from a successful run as the Cruiserweight Champion to be nothing more than a jobber on SmackDown. I don't understand it. And why did he cut his hair? He looked good with the longer hair. Still got the beard, though. Still got that epic beard. But the guy's a loser. The guy is nothing but a notable enhancement talent. And I can't stand when guys as talented as Rugelach are used in this manner. I really can't stand it. Nobody is over on this show. It sucks how you give your career to these people and they don't do anything to enhance your fucking career. It's either you die or you ascend when they say so. Drew Gulak should not be somebody that was picked for this show, that was drafted to this show to be in the position that he's in. None of these guys get vignettes. None of these guys get an opportunity to get themselves over with the audience. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody has a microphone in their hand to cut a promo, to give the crowd a sense of what they feel like or what they sound like or what they're going to be doing on this show. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why am I going to care? Why is anybody in fucking Birmingham, Alabama going to give a fuck about Drew Gulak? Why did you even draft him to this show? If this is the he's already peaked. He's already peaked at his ceiling. Why is he on this show if this is the extent that you're going to use him? I don't get it. If I had someone like Drew Gulak in House of Glory, he'd be a fucking world champion. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Ali wins in 4 minutes. 450 splash. Squash match. That's all this guy is worth. They showed Bryan backstage pacing, and he was contemplating what he was going to do as far as Bray Wyatt wanting to play with him again for the Universal title. Sasha Banks and Bayley made their way to the ring. Sasha wanted to talk about the state of the women's division. I don't need Sasha Banks and Bayley to talk about the state of the women's division because I already know the state of the women's division is absolutely miserable. Miserable. The women's division on this show sucks. It really does. I don't believe that this show has set up nobody underneath Bayley and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks and Bayley are so far ahead of everybody else on this division that they are on their own planet at this point. And that's not what I want to see out of a women's division. And WWE is not going to do anything to build up the women's division because they don't give a shit about women's wrestling. They only give a shit about women's wrestling when it benefits them or when they want to push an agenda of some sort. Who gives a shit? I really don't care. You know? Sasha and Bayley need better than Carmella and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans. Give me a break. So she's out there saying she didn't choose her SmackDown teammate, Sasha. And if she did, then they would have won the match easily. Bayley said she didn't lose to Shayna because Shayna is better than her. She said SmackDown lost because the entire locker room let her down. She said SmackDown lost because the entire locker room let her down. What does that have to do with your ability to go at Becky and Shayna Baszler? Are you telling me that because SmackDown let Sasha down that you took that disappointment into your match with Becky and Shayna and that's why you lost? I don't understand that logic. Sasha said a strong leader is only as strong as the weakest link. And the weakest link on their teams was everyone else. She took shots at everybody, noting that Dana Brooke couldn't flex her way out of a paper bag. She also couldn't wrestle herself out of the fucking catering line. That's my line. That's not what Sasha said, but I'm pretty sure Sasha would say that if she was allowed to. Nikki Cross got on the team because of a fluke, and Carmella is a messy, no money, never will be rich as her individual. So Bayley said Lacey Evans was also too busy sipping sweet tea on her porch to be any help. And if you were actually in the ring more than you were drinking the sweet tea, then maybe we would have stand a chance to win against NXT and Monday Night Raw. So Sasha said the entire women's division makes her sick. So does my stomach. I feel sick after watching the women's division as well. Lacey came down and she walked out to zero reaction. Zero reaction. Lacey entered the ring and said that she spent the entire night preparing a Thanksgiving dinner for 36 people, including her in-laws. Who gives a shit? And she said no mood to listen to two women who aren't fit for the kiddie table mouthing off to her. I don't know who's writing these promos, but God, please put the fucking pen down. She said she wouldn't trust these two nasties to lead a chicken dance at a garden party. This has Vince McMahon's DNA written all over it. This does not make Lacey Evans sound cool. This does not make Sasha and Bayley look good. A chicken dance at a garden party? Not really what I call a wrestling promo for a wrestling show. She said if they're going to hide behind lame excuses and blame everyone but themselves for their failures, it's time for the SmackDown Women's Division to get a real woman to be the locker room leader. A woman with class, style, confidence, and sophistication. Then I don't know what happened in the audience because Lacey Evans got no reaction coming on out. I guess everybody was drinking sweet tea at this time. A moderate Lacey Evans chant broke out in the... What arena is this? The Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. A Lacey Evans chant broke out for Lacey Evans in this promo. And Bayley and Sasha were upset here. So Sasha Banks was mouthing off to Lacey Evans. Bayley got in her face. And Lacey gave Sasha a woman's right. And then left. Bayley did nothing to help Sasha Banks. Nothing. Bayley didn't attack Lacey Evans. She didn't go after Lacey Evans. She didn't go to assist Sasha Banks in any way. I don't know what this means. I really don't. Are we getting a Bayley versus Lacey Evans feud? I hope not. I seriously hope not. Lacey Evans is a babyface? Please, throw the fucking sweet tea in my eyes. Blind me. Blind me. I hope the sugar fucking just blinds the shit out of me. I don't get it. Babyface Lacey Evans. I want to puke. I really want to puke just at the thought of it. Now, I don't understand what we're doing here. You want me to boo? Let me get this straight. You want me to boo Sasha Banks and Bayley, right? I don't know how that's even fucking possible at this point, because there's nobody else in the division at all. There's not one babyface in this division to make me hate Sasha and Bayley. I don't think there's anybody in this fucking company that's going to make me hate Sasha Banks and Bayley. But let me get this straight. You want to book Sasha and Bayley as heels. And then you want to book her or them in a feud with Lacey Evans. Do you mean you want me to cheer Lacey Evans over Sasha Banks and Bayley? What fucking dimension are you from, Vince? That ain't happening. That ain't happening. This is going to be another dead feud for TLC. I don't get it. I don't even know how that's even possible. Now, if this is setting up or planting those little seeds of Sasha versus Bayley for whenever that happens, okay. But I don't want to have to sit through a Lacey Evans versus Bayley match to get to Sasha and Bayley down the line. This was garbage. And the chicken dance at a garden party portion of the promo, Vince, stop. Please, just fucking stop. God, these people don't know how they are destroying these characters on TV by writing horrendous dialogue like we heard from Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. It is god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Daniel Bryan. She asked Bryan if he's ready to answer Bray's challenge. Suddenly we see a Firefly Funhouse segment on the TV. And they went back to the Funhouse where Huskus the Pig is burping over a table of Thanksgiving leftovers. Huskus said he'd feel better if Bryan played with them again. Bray said everything about Thanksgiving he's heard is a lie. He said it was between the muscle men and the reptilians. He said he can change, just as Bryan can change, as long as he follows a few simple rules. Then they went to Bray teaching Huskus how to do the muscle man dance. And then we see Bray Wyatt rapping with the Universal title wrapped around his waist. We see Huskus the Pig wearing baggy jeans. And he's rapping along with Bray Wyatt. A bunch of Masonic imagery in this promo, or this Firefly Funhouse Muscle Man dance segment with Bray Wyatt. So they were dancing with images of junk food. Erase your mind to the Muscle Man dance, said Bray Wyatt. He told everyone to let him in, and don't let the reptilians in. Then they went back to Bray saying, let me in. And then Bryan and Kayla were standing there, and they didn't know what to say. Bryan looked on. Kayla asked him, well? And nobody said anything. That was it. We didn't get an answer from Daniel Bryan. Very weird. Very weird muscle man dance. Very weird with Huskers to Pig rapping and Bray rapping. It didn't really come off entertaining to me. I mean, they're just recycling old skits with the Firefly Funhouse. I said this once before. It was either last week or the week before that. I would love to see them deviate away from these Firefly Funhouse segments and get Bray in the ring and do an actual Funhouse. Live in the ring. You know, maybe not with the puppets, but just him talking in front of a live audience. You really can't gauge how people are invested in the character unless it's in front of the live audience. I don't think people are really as invested as they first were in the Firefly Funhouse like they were in the beginning. I want to see Bray in the ring. I want to see a face-to-face with somebody and Bray Wyatt. Anybody. I'm just over these Funhouse segments. This wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining to me. You know? I don't really find enjoyment in them as I did. I'm not saying that they're bad. I just don't find them to be enjoyable as they once were. Just recycled over and over and over again. Nikki Cross, Sonya Deville. We have Mandy Rose making fun of Nikki Cross. She got on the microphone, and I know for a fact that Mandy Rose said something about Nikki Cross once before. This was a couple of months ago, maybe in the summertime, where she just cut a horrendous promo about her looks. Mandy Rose saying, look at Nikki Cross, and then look at me. I got men begging to hold the door open for me. Nikki Cross looks like a sewer rat roaming around in the subways of New York City, or something along those lines. Then we get Mandy Rose making fun of Nikki Cross's looks again. It's as if they're recycling their own material. So she gets on the microphone. I didn't even know what the match was going to be. I thought it was going to be Mandy Rose versus Nikki Cross. Instead it was Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose says Nikki Cross looks as bad as a bunch of leftovers left in the refrigerator after Thanksgiving. Or something along those lines. I don't know. Or she looks as cold as a plate of Thanksgiving leftovers. That's what it was. So, after that, she exited the ring. Goodbye. Deville and Nikki Cross went to 2 minutes. Nikki Cross with the win. So that was pretty much it. Rose distracted Nikki, then Sonya yanked Nikki off the top rope to the floor. Nikki surprised Sonya with a small package for the win. After the match, Rose and Sonya attacked Nikki Cross. Out comes Alexa Bliss to a babyface pop for the save. God help us all. Bliss slapped Rose, gave her a double DDT with Nikki Cross, or gave Sonya a double DDT with Nikki Cross. They celebrated with a big hug, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are reunited. Who gives a shit? Seriously, who the fuck cares? I do not give a shit about Alexa Bliss enough to fucking react to her returning. I don't care. She is either injury prone, quote unquote, or she'll be out in the next 3 to 4 months with another time where she has to go back and get some enhancements done to her overall look. That's all it is. Who gives a shit? Miz is backstage. He approached Daniel Bryan. Says he's not afraid he's not his friend, and certainly is not his mentor. He told him to look at what happened to people when the Fiend is done with them. He said he did survive the Fiend once, and it's tempting to go after the Universal title again, but he asked him to consider this and asked himself if it's worth it. Miz asked Bryan if he realizes how important he is to SmackDown and his locker room. We can't afford to lose you. He said your family can't afford to lose you, or he was about to say that, and then he got some nasty look from Daniel Bryan. And then The Miz didn't even get to finish his sentence, but you get where he was going with it, and he walked away. So we get Drake Maverick backstage. I don't know how we transitioned from The Miz and Bryan to fucking Drake Maverick. Dana Brooke was on her phone DMing Batista at this point. She was legitimately on her phone, I'm sure. She was DMing Batista. Apparently they got a date set up. Apparently Batista's going to have Dana Brooke be a one-hit-and-quit type deal. That's my opinion. It's what I'm gauging from this entire situation. I think Batista has better taste in women than Dana Brooke. Are you serious? I wish them the best. Drake Maverick approached Dana Brooke, who was on her phone. He asked her if she knows his favorite Christmas tradition. He then holds up a mistletoe and says, "Merry Christmas." Are we at that time of the season already? She said, "Not this holiday or any holiday ever." And then she asked, "Aren't you married?" He said, "It's complicated." In walked Elias with his guitar. Dana asked where he's been. He said he's been on a journey inwards and outwards, and he's a changed man. Really? I gotta see when you get back in the ring how fucking changed you are. Drake asked what that even means. Elias asked everyone to silence their cell phones and told Drake to shut his mouth. He played guitar, and Dana started dancing. Don't dance too hard, honey. You're gonna make Batista jealous. New Day made their way to the ring. Biggie said they had quite the Thanksgiving. Said they had to fill up on all the fixings. Biggie then said today is Black Friday. Says it's a day near and dear to their hearts because he debuted on this day. Plus, it's a deal of their wildest treasure. Hunt fantasies come true. Kofi said they've decided to open their doors for business. Said it's a match for their tag team titles and it's an open challenge. Crowd chanted, "Who?" Yeah, who? Out came Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro. Sami told everyone to shut their mouths. Said it makes him sick to his stomach hearing the two of them come out and romanticize a holiday like Thanksgiving. He said it's a holiday where the gluttonous masses celebrate imperialistic evil. He then said, "Why do you guys tout Black Friday? You know, it's a corporate scam of a holiday that promotes rampant consumerism and epitomizes all the evils of capitalism with people so selfish that they'd step over their own grandmothers to put an extra $1 or $2 in their pockets. Shame on you." Is he wrong? Is there anything that Sami Zayn said incorrect? I don't think so. Every single one of you who continue to perpetuate and partake in this bogus holiday every year, he said it's time for the tag team titles to be held by a team smart enough to see through all this nonsense. So the New Day get challenged by Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Folks, I said it in the beginning, and I'll say it again. Open challenge has been done to death in WWE. Every time WWE has absolutely nothing to do. Every time WWE sits in the writer's room and has writer's block. Guys, we need something filled in for segment 11 on tonight's show. We got nothing. Right? They're thinking. Vince comes in, looking over the script. Why do we got segment 11 blank? Vince, we got nothing. How about we do an open challenge? Great idea. That's all it is. The open challenge is nothing but a scam. Sami Zayn just got done talking about fucking scams. It's a scam because the creative writing team has absolutely no creativity, nothing planned, nothing of importance, nothing that's going to further any storylines. 3 weeks away from a fucking pay-per-view, they got no goddamn feud for the tag team champions. It is absolutely the epitome of fucking laziness. Open challenge simply is the creative writing team has absolutely nothing for you, so let's go out there and do the open challenge. Who gives a shit? People will eat it up, and they'll love the unpredictability of the open challenge. That's all it is. They've done it to death so many times that I genuinely don't give a shit. The only time the open challenge mattered is when John Cena did it when he was the United States champion. And he made that title fucking relevant. And it fit John Cena's character. It was great. John Cena's open challenge in that period of Monday Night Raw was the best thing every single week on Monday Night Raw. Now, it's just used because WWE can't come up with good material for their shows. New Day wins. I don't know who the fuck would be interested in this match. We've seen this match countless times. I've lost count as to how many times Cesaro challenged the New Day. Why would I give a shit about this with Cesaro and someone not named Sheamus when we've seen this same match with The Bar and the New Day over and over and over and over again? New Day win. They retain their tag team titles. That's it. Sami Zayn, again, one of the best parts of the entire show. Bryan made his way to the ring, talked about the Fiend, and the Fiend inviting him, and what Miz warned him about. Bryan said maybe he does need to be changed. He He said he walked into the match with The Fiend as nervous as he has in years because he knew The Fiend had the potential to change him the way he did Finn Balor and the way he changed Seth Rollins. And he mentioned those two guys, and it makes me think that some sort of change is coming to Daniel Bryan. I hope the change is what we've seen happen tonight. I hope the change that Bryan underwent because of his feud with The Fiend is the yes chant returning. He is now once again partaking in the yes movement. I hope that is the extent of it. Bray Wyatt turned Daniel Bryan into a babyface all over again. He brought Daniel Bryan back to what made him the biggest fucking wrestler in the world. And I hope that is as far as the change for Daniel Bryan. He said in the middle of the match, he suddenly felt changed. And I hope that's exactly what I'm talking about. He said that he wasn't changed because of The Fiend, but rather because of the fans. He said it was their passion, their voice, and their energy, and that all showed him the person he should have been the whole time. Bryan said The Fiend has said on numerous occasions the yes movement is dead, but maybe, just maybe, the fans brought it back to life. He said he has one question for them, and Bryan asked the crowd in Alabama if he would like to see, or if they would like to see him challenge The Fiend for the Universal title, and the fans erupted in a yes chant completely on cue. So a huge yes chant broke out, and Bryan said it doesn't feel complete unless he's doing it with them, so everybody joined in a massive yes chant. So the Firefly Funhouse, again for the third time tonight, showed up on the Titantron. Bryan turned to the big screen where Bray was all smiles and said he loved this new energy, how it was so exciting coming from Daniel Bryan. He said he has to say something. He said The Miz is right because if he goes through with this, he will change because he will remove his mask and show everyone his true form. Now, this is what is getting me worried. Bray said right there that if The Fiend gets him in a match again, that The Fiend will show everyone his true form and he will remove Daniel Bryan's mask. I don't like the sound of that. I really don't. It's only fair because you helped me change, Daniel. You helped build this place. He got sinister and said he certainly remembers. And they're going back to what happened in 2014 with Bryan breaking free away from the Wyatt family. And just a month before that, or a month after that rather, at the Royal Rumble, Bryan and Wyatt was unbelievable at the 2014 Royal Rumble. Bryan brought Bray Wyatt to the best match, the best singles match of his entire career. So that's what he's absolutely talking about. Then he snapped out of it after he got sinister. He snapped out of it and said he almost forgot the best part. He said he promised all of his Fireflies a new face tonight. He said he is many things, including a man of his word. He gave off a sinister laugh. The lights started to go out in the arena, signifying the Fiend was about to appear. Bryan was getting ready to fight. He got defensive. Suddenly the Fiend showed up, and out from the hole, he came in the canvas. At least it wasn't Blade and the Butcher from AEW. So he came up from a hole in the canvas. He grabbed his legs, did Bryan, and he pulled him into the hole with the mandible claw. He pulled Bryan under the ring with him, and he was choking him out, and he was doing something in the hole. All you seen was the Fiend moving around in this big hole in the ring. And every single time he came up, as if he was coming up for a breath of fresh air, as if he was underwater, he pulls out wads of hair. Every time he goes down and starts giving Bryan the mandible claw, he pulls out wads of hair. And everybody was wondering what was going on. And every time the Fiend went down, he would pull out more and more hair. And the show closed with the Fiend's sinister laugh. You've seen him laughing from the hole, and it fades to black. It doesn't even fade to black. We get a hard stop, black screen, and that's it on SmackDown tonight. Now, I don't understand where this is going. I thought this title that Bray Wyatt introduced was the new face of the Firefly Funhouse. It could be. But then Bray Wyatt, in the closing segment of this show, said that I'm a man who lives up to my word, and I will reveal a new face for the Firefly Funhouse. Is the new face a clean-shaven Daniel Bryan? Does this mean that Bryan is shedding his long hair, cutting his beard, and going back to the babyface look that he had before he even made the main roster in WWE? All those days back to when NXT was a circus and The Miz was his mentor. I hope not. I really hope not. That is the extent of your creativity with Daniel Bryan? That's the change that you want Daniel Bryan to undertake here in this feud with The Fiend? I don't get it. Now, Bryan may want a clean-cut look again. I don't know. Maybe Brie got sick of Daniel Bryan's long hair and said, honey, you had the long hair and the beard for too long. Maybe we need a clean-cut husband at home. I don't want your daughter to see this animal-looking individual anymore. You know? Birdie B. I don't know how old Birdie B is anymore, but maybe Brie doesn't want Daniel Bryan at home all scruffy looking anymore. I don't know. Maybe he's genuinely sick and tired of the long hair and beard. If he wants to get rid of it, so be it. We'll all get used to it, but I hope that it's not the case. And I'm afraid that when we see Daniel Bryan next week, he's going to be bald. Listen, I'll compromise. Shave the head, keep the beard. Please, keep the fucking beard. I do not want to see Daniel Bryan clean shaven. I don't. Tommaso Ciampa never trimmed the beard. There's no reason why Daniel Bryan needs to shave the beard, all because he's in a feud with Bray Wyatt, and the Fiend is going to change and show the real mask of Daniel Bryan. You already brought out the yes chant. That's all we need. Shave the head, keep the beard. I'll compromise with you, please. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan clean cut. I don't. I really don't. That would be an absolute crime. It would be so terrible if they cut Daniel Bryan's hair. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't want to see it. Let me know what you think down below. This SmackDown episode was fucking awful. Absolutely unimportant garbage outside of The Fiend introducing a new Universal Championship for himself. And it's pretty badass. So badass that WWE is already selling a limited number of them. They're all limited edition. So go get it on WWE Shop. I feel like a fucking telemarketer. There you go, guys. This SmackDown sucked. I'll be back tomorrow with Off the Script. We're going to talk Corey Graves. We're going to talk Survivor Series, why Vince hated the main event of the Survivor Series, why he even put the women in the main event to begin with. And we're going to talk about everything else that is hot during the WWE News Week, man. Thank you so very much. Follow me on Twitter, @JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to go check out all the other content that you might have missed, links are down below. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free book. Mayor Kane out Tuesday. Get it for free. 8 hours of audiobook by Glenn Jacobs, narrated. Can't beat that, man. Can't beat that. You're getting something for free. It's a great way to support the show and Audible. And I will see you all right back here tomorrow afternoon for episode 302 of Off the Script. Thank God this SmackDown is over. It was awful. And I should say that I'm excited for the new week, but I'm not. WWE, man, the winter months just bring a dead period to the WWE, and we just got to get used to this shit until we get into the build for the Royal Rumble. It's going to be the same old rinse and repeat, guys. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow for episode 302 of OTS. See you then.